Did you ever want to play your ukulele with a friend? Well, then COVID hit and play-alongs came quickly to an end. So we virtualized and put the chords and lyrics all online. So join us every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So join us every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Glad you're here. Okay, first I want to talk about the countdown music, because normally we either have music from a guest who provides music for us to play during the countdown. We have music from people who tune in and send me music, and that's always fun because we get to hear y'all play. Or we have Wagon Wheel. one of those three things. So tonight was a little different. So that's called classical music. That's an orchestra. But the amazing thing about that is it's not just that it's, I don't know, the more I came to music very late in life. So the more I am kind of around music, the more amazed I am by music. So this weekend, Amy's my girlfriend, and one of her sons plays the viola, and he was at a camp for kids. And at the end of it, there was a concert. So that was an excerpt. I don't know if I'm allowed to record that and replay it, but it's music that lost its copyright years and years ago, I believe. So, and I'm not charging any money for anything, so I think I'm safe. But that was an entire orchestra, and the entire orchestra was teenagers. So if you were able to hear the countdown music, just realize that every single person that you heard, the entire orchestra, and it was probably, I don't know, 80 people or so, was all teenagers, probably from maybe like 13 or so to 18. So I think that's just amazing. I mean, that's amazing. All right, so anyway, Barrett, that's awesome. You have incredible talent, and that whole group you're with, it's just phenomenal. So if you ever get a chance to go watch a youth orchestra, that's what you can hear. I mean, that's some of the best players in Florida, some of the best musicians in Florida. Anyway, this is a ukulele show, but it's a music show, and I thought that was way better than Wagon Wheel. So there you go. Hey, David. Hello, Karen. All right, so we got all kinds of stuff tonight. We're gonna teach you a little a different strum, a little boom chuck, with a little walk up if you play a low G. But we have a couple little tutorial things. It's not a full tutorial, just short little things. Got a couple new songs we're gonna play, and just so you know, and then we'll play our first song. I have company coming this weekend, so each week is normally kind of busy. This week is like insanely busy, so my level of preparation is quite a bit less than on a normal day. So go easy. Always remember how much you paid. And I said it before, if you ever are unhappy, I will give you a 100% refund for every penny you paid to watch this. I'll refund every bit of that back if you're not happy. All right. Hey, Terry. And Mary and the Lisa Buck that I wasn't related to. Hello, Lisa. All right, here we go. Let's see. Fields of Gold. We have never played this song. This is a song by Sting. Let me go here. Called Fields of Gold. It's a nice song. I was going to pick this, but I think I'm just going to strum it. That's what I think. And it's got some little unpredictable things in here. So, like that third line, you'll forget the sun in his jealous sky. You're going from that B flat to F pretty quickly. So just don't plan on doing full strums on all of the chords that are listed on the chord sheet. All right. So I'm going to play just a tiny bit of this. It's real slow. And it goes, and we'll start again, so don't worry. But it's like this. You remember me when the west wind moves upon the forget. So it's really slow like that. And you could do like a little inside-outside Travis picking pattern to this. Would sound really nice. But anyway, so with that said, we'll start. No tutorial for this song, but I just wanted to explain that a little bit. And you got the B flat in there. So for everyone trying to avoid playing B flat, just try it. Make yourself do it. I promise it'll come easier. Promise. You used to think island strum was hard. You used to think playing a G chord was hard, and you can do those things now. So B flat really isn't much different. There's just some people that avoid it at all costs. And I constantly tell those people or that person to stop that. All right, so here we go. Let's just vamp on D minor. Here we go. You remember me when the west wind moved upon the fields of barley. You'll forget the sun and his jealous sky as we walk in fields of gold. So she took her love all to gaze a while upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? We'll forget the sun in his jealous sky as we lie in fields of gold. See the west wind move like a lover so upon the fields of barley. Feel her body rise when you kiss her mouth among the fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some I've broken, but I swear in the days to live we'll walk in the fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down among the fields of gold. You'll remember me when the west wind moved upon the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. All right, so really nice song. That whole Sting album was pretty awesome. And next time we're going to pick that. We're going to do a picking pattern on that one because it goes really nice to it. But there you go. For anyone new, I know there's a couple people new that joined us because I saw a few people saying first time. So all of the music sheets that you see scrolling tonight are available in a Dropbox. One important thing to say, when you go to access the Dropbox wants to make money, and they will say, hey, do you want to create an account? Just say no. I pay for the account, so you don't have to, so you can just download stuff, but just don't join. You don't need to join. So if they ask you that question, just cancel or say no, just don't do it. No need. But all of the ones from tonight and previous shows are there. So, and someone is always really, and Terry, you beat me to it. I was about to say someone is always really nice and puts the link up there, but Terry Brensma a super fine gentleman. Just put that up there for you. So thank you, Terry, as always. All right, I'm not sure if we've done this song before. So we got some new stuff. If we did do this, it was a long time ago. So we're going to talk about this song, the beginning. Let me put some chords up there for you. Okay, just a 3-chord song. The beginning is pretty recognizable if you know it. I'll play it and then we'll come back. But I tried to notate with down and up arrows. I tried to notate a method that kind of makes it sound like the song. So it's like this. It's a... Hey, Bobby. So that's it. So if you look at that, it's just down and up arrows. So we're going to go down, 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 up, down, 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 changing to D. So on G chord, down, 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 up, down, switch to D, down, 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 up, down, switch to A7, down, D, down, and then almost the same thing on the next line. So that's it. I just want to explain that. If that notation looks a little crazy to you, that's what we're going for. And we're just going to go into the song. And the song starts and ends the same way. So you can practice that on your own. All right, here we go. Let me scroll up a little. Here we go. Now just strum. Well, it's all right. Riding around in the breeze. Well, it's all right. If you live the life you please, well, it's all right. Doing the best that you can, well, it's all right. As long as you lend a hand. You can sit around and wait for the phone to ring, waiting for someone to tell you everything at the end of the line. Sit around and wonder what tomorrow bring at the end of the line. Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right. Even if they say you're wrong, well, it's all right. Sometimes you gotta be strong. Well, it's all right. As long as you got somewhere to lay, well, it's all right. Every day is Judgment Day. Maybe somewhere down the road a ways at the end of the line, think of me and wonder where I am these days at the end of the line. Maybe somewhere down the road when somebody plays at the end of the line a purple haze. Well, it's all right. Even when push comes to shove, well, it's all right. If you got someone to love, well, it's all right. Everything will work out fine, well, it's all right. We're going to the end of the line. Don't have to be ashamed of the car I drive. Just glad to be here, happy to be alive at the end of the line. It don't matter if you're by my side, but I'm satisfied. Well, it's all right. Even if you're old and gray, well, it's all right. You yes, I still got something to say, but it's alright. Remember to live and let live, well, it's alright. The best you can do is forgive, well, it's alright. Riding around in the breeze, well, it's alright. If you live the life you please, well, it's alright. Even if the sun don't shine, well, it's alright. We're going to the end of the line. Alright. That's a fun one. It probably would make a good collaboration because I'm trying to do both the main sing, the singing, and the echoing on the end of those lines. And that's a little tough to do because sometimes they overlap. Hey, Andy Pfluger. Andy always pops in and tells us what he's going to do other than watch this show. Hey, Andy. And Andy went to a live uke event last night. First one in 2 years, he told me. So, Andy, that's cool. A lot of stuff like that happening. So that's really cool to be able to do that. All right. So we don't do a whole lot of birthday things on this show. No reason. We just, I don't know. Sometimes we do. But tonight we're going to. And today is my dad's birthday. So, Pop, happy birthday. I want to show something real quick. My dad is 83 today. And a little bit ago, like a week ago, he came over my house, drove over to my house from their home in Melbourne, Florida. And we went out and had lunch and was having a nice dark beer. And on the way home, I think it was, maybe at lunch, but on the way home, my dad said, hey, when we take the boat out, do you think I could go water skiing? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely we can do that. And he's water skied his whole life. He's water skied since he was like, a teenager. So he's like 13. I think we figured he'd been water skiing for 70 years. So anyway, not only does my dad water ski, and we'll get back to playing music in a minute, but you'll get a kick out of this, I think. Not only does my dad water ski, now keep in mind, he's 83 and he's in phenomenal shape. I hope I'm so lucky. And he, not just water skis, he does like goofy stuff. He does like tricks and stunts and such. So this is my this is my dad. Wait, there we go. This is my dad a week ago here on Lake Conway in near Orlando, Florida, and that's my dad. The splits with his legs, the splits were intentional. I don't want anyone to think that my dad doesn't. I don't want anyone telling my dad you're supposed to have your legs together and stand up straight. Anyway, happy birthday, Dad. Love you. You're awesome. And that's just amazing right there. So the other thing we're going to do is something we did once before. And he'll probably cringe and kick me around because I did this again. But I love music. I've said that before. And one of the cool things is playing music with friends and family and stuff like that. So a little while back, my dad came into town. We had a uke event in Orlando at the library. And he came. And totally unannounced, I called him down on the stage and we did a song. We did a song together. So this is going to be a play-along song. But it's also going to be a song that my dad and I did. A little while back. So, King of the Road, probably one of his faves, and here it is. This is me and my dad at the library a few months back. Hi, this is Mike Gent, my pop. Hi. Trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let 56. No phone, no pool, no bed. I ain't got no cigarettes. About 2 hours of pushing broom buys an 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Third boxcar midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine. Old worn out suits and shoes. I don't pay no union dues. I smoke old stogies I have found. Short but not to be around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I know every engineer on every train, all of the children, all of the names, every handout, every town, every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. I sing trailers, no silver rings, rooms to let 56, no phone, no pool, no pets. I ain't got no cigarettes. About 2 hours of pushing broom by the 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road, king of the road. One more time, king of the road. Yeah. All right. Well, that's fun, right? It feels like you're at a play along. Anyway, happy birthday, Dad. You're awesome. I love you, and hope it was a really good day for you. And I'll see you this weekend. That's going to be fun. Okay, let's see what's next. Let me get the songs back up here. Oh, okay, so we're going to do a little bit of tutorial here. So let me show you. We're going to play... I saw Rose Singleton in the comments just a moment ago. So Rose, you get a song with your name in it. A Johnny Cash song. So we're going to play this in the key of A, because I can sort of sing this in the key of A. Kathy, my parents, mom and dad, live in Melbourne, Florida. They'd love to see you sometime. You should stop in. Okay, so what we're going to do on this, first we're going to talk about the strum. I have a low G. This honestly works a little better, but you can play this with a high G. Just, it sounds different than what it will sound in mine. My G sounds like this. Your G sounds much higher than that. Well, if you have a high G. So we're going to use the G and the C strings as a bass line. Right? So essentially, you're going to hear this while the song is going on, just back and forth. Well, that's open, but I'll play an A. And then we'll play D. And that's that bass line. But in between each of those, you're going to do a strum. So we are going to pluck, let me go to this right here. We are going to pluck with our thumb the G string. Right? And then we're going to strum. Just a quick little strum. So hold an A chord. Pluck, G, strum. Pluck, strum. Again, your high G will sound a little different. Alright, I know, we're just going to do that a little bit. G, pluck, strum. So that's easy enough, right? Okay, now we are going to alternate. So we're going to pluck the G, strum. Then we're going to do the exact same thing except on the C string and the strum. So G, strum, C, strum. It's like anything, it seems crazy difficult at first. And that's our strum the whole song. We're going to change chords, of course, but that is the strum we're doing the whole time, alternating C and G as kind of our alternating little bass line. So we're going to do that part. There's also a part halfway through each verse. So let me come back to this here. Halfway between each verse, and that is where it says I could see. So it's like, I found him. The song goes like this: I found him at the railroad track this morning. G, C, I could see that he was nearly dead. So sometimes like a bass player might put that in. We're going to play it on our uke. And again, this part for sure really works with the low G. It's going to sound really funky with the high G. But hang with me. So we're going to do that line again. So let's talk about that real quick. So we're going, I could see that he was nearly dead. Dum, dum, boom, 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 boom. So we're going from the A in the dead to a D in I knelt. So to do that, we are going to, let me show this. I'm going to have the A held, right? So I'm holding the A, and I'm going to pluck the G string. What chord am I playing? What note am I playing? So if I have if I have a G, I have a G sharp, then I have an A. No. Sorry. I'm playing an A note. The first one is an A note. Then I am putting my pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. Okay, so pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. So I'm playing an A chord and plucking the G. Then I'm putting my pinky on that 4th fret of the G string. Then I'm playing the C string as I'm holding the A chord. And then I'm going into my D chord. So I know that sounds maybe slightly confusing. So let me go back to this. And I'm going to say, I could see that he was nearly dead. And I'm doing my strum wrong. So I could see that he was nearly dead. Hold on. My hands are sweaty here. I could see that he was nearly dead. So I'm just doing the walk up. I'm just walking up from A to D. So I hope that makes sense. I'll say it one more time. So we hold an A chord and pluck the G string. Then we put our pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. And then we just play the C string as we're holding it, right? We're already in position with the A chord. So that's a C string, but we're on the first fret. So we're actually what? Playing a C sharp, right? So we're just walking that up. And then we go right back into our little strum there. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take these headphones out. I do not need them. Let's go ahead and do this. If this is not coming to you immediately, don't worry. It's just something you practice, and then it sounds a little better, and you practice some more, and it sounds even better. Okay, so let me scroll down just a little bit. Found him by the railroad track this morning. I could see that he was nearly dead. I knelt down beside him and I listened just to hear the words the dying fellow said. He said they let me out of prison down in Frisco. For 10 long years I've paid for what I've done. I was trying to get back to Louisiana to see my Rose and get to know my son. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money, tell her buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy that daddy's so proud of him. And don't forget to give my love to Rose. Won't you tell him I said thanks for waiting for me? Tell my boy to help his mom at home. Tell my Rose to try to find another, 'cause it ain't right that she should live alone. Mister, here's a bag with all my money. It won't last them long the way it goes. God bless you for finding me this morning. Now don't forget to give my love to Rose. Give my love to Rose, please won't you, mister? Take her all my money, tell her buy some pretty clothes. Tell my boy that daddy's so proud of him. Don't forget to give my love to Rose. All right, so a little strum, new strum, and that's a very useful strum for lots of different things. And the walk-up's kind of fun too, but again, low G. If you don't play a low G, try one out. You might like to have one of those as well. It's very useful. All right, let's see. Let's just go on to the next thing here. Oh, we did this a while back. Pete McCarty was a guest on the show, and he is an Elvis. He lives in Memphis or just outside of Memphis, and a huge Elvis fan. I like Elvis too, probably not as much as Pete, but we did this. I put together this medley, and then Pete and I did this medley as a little collaboration that we played on the show. So kind of fun. So here we go. I'm not going to put a drum on for this. I thought about it, but I'm not going to. So I've changed the key of the various songs so they all basically are in the same key. It works, I think, fairly well, but if there's some issues, sorry. Here we go. They said you were high class. That was just a lie. They said you were high class. That was just a lie. Well, you ain't never caught a rabbit. You ain't no friend of mine. Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man up a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting as queer as a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up on. Wise man say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Well, that's alright, mama. That's alright for you. That's alright, mama. Just any way you do. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright now, mama. Any way you do. Oh, you know I can't be found sitting home alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. I gave a letter to the postman, put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Oh, why can't you see what you're doing to me? When you don't believe a word I'm saying, 'cause you look like an angel, walk like an angel, talk like an angel, but I got wise. Oh, Stephen. Steve, hey, so if you see the wise guy making the comment that I sound like Elvis, that is Stephen Lawson, who lives in Tennessee. And Stephen, in a couple weeks, is going to be a guest on this show, which is going to be awesome because he just is really knowledgeable about a lot of things. Music, for sure. Nashville, absolutely. Music, history, and boats. Big, like freighters that move through the ocean. So he is mostly going to be talking about music and specifically the Nashville, the numbering system. And I'll give you so I can go into on song like this. Right now I have chords. Oh, wait a second. You need to see that. So right now I have chords on the screen, right? So that's how we're used to seeing this. Just chords. What Stephen is going to talk about is when you see this right here. Right? So you don't see chords anymore. You don't see A and D and such. You're going to see this, and you might look at that and say, I'm signing off and I'm going to go eat dinner. But Stephen's going to explain this. So we're looking forward to that. Stephen, that's going to be great. Anyway, let me make sure I switch back to the regular numbering system. The alpha. All right, there we go. Okay, so anyway, we'll get more information on that, the date and such. We'll have all those details on Facebook and distributed shortly. Soon, very soon. Okay, what else are we going to do? Let me check how many songs we have left. All right, I want to show one more thing here. Actually, let's do a song, and then we'll come back and show this one thing, just so I don't get accused of talking too much and not playing enough. So we're going to do Eleanor Rigby. And we're just going to do just simple strum on this. Very simple strum. So if you look, we have an E minor 7. That's just a G with basically your ring finger lifted. But we also have an E minor 6. So just get prepared for when that comes. All you're doing is you're just playing E minor 7. And you're just scooting your finger over one fret. Your middle finger over one fret. So that's E minor 7. Or you could drop your ring finger on that spot. Either way. Okay. And C major 7, it's just right between C and C7. C major 7. And I think you know C and E minor. So, here we go. Do, 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 do. All right, are you ready? We'll just start with C. Just vamp on C. I look at all the lonely people. I look at all the lonely people. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in the church where the wedding has been. Lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? Father Mackenzie, writing the words of a sermon that no one will hear. No one comes near, look at him working, darning his socks in the nights when nobody is there. What does he care? All the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? I look at all the lonely people. I look at all the lonely people. Eleanor Rigby died in the church and was buried along with her name. Nobody came, Father Mackenzie, wiping the dirt from his hands as he walks from the grave. No one was saved, all the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? All right, hey Christine, that's a song I like. That's not a song I like. I don't think I do well in that song. All right, so here's what I wanted to talk about. So ukuleles, Amy, I've mentioned Amy before. Amy is watching. Hello, Amy. So Amy has been playing ukulele about 1.5 years. I've kind of taught her what little I know about ukulele, and and she's gotten quite good at ukulele. And she's been playing, it's a long story, but it kind of a hand-me-down ukulele. And she's done great. And we had a event come recently. So I gave her a present. And it's not like I would come on here and show presents I give, but it's a ukulele, so I think it's okay. So I was at a ukulele. No, you don't want to see that. You already saw my dad water skiing. One second, let me get that ready. Okay. Okay, now we're ready. So I was at a ukulele festival up in Nashville, Indiana called BCUF. Not Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville, Indiana. Brown County Ukulele Festival. Met a guy who has a ukulele company. He builds ukuleles. It's called Tree Frog Ukulele. So when I got back from that, I started communicating with him and planning this out. So this took a number of months, just because I was thinking things through, and before it was built, making some changes and doing some design work. So this is the end product. I'll show you some better pictures, but it's awesome. It's so cool. So I'm excited to show this. So here is that. So that's the whole uke. And you can see here, so that's Amy's hand, that's Amy's wrist. So the wood is mango. I wouldn't go into this much detail, but ukulele people love their ukuleles. So the wood of the body, top and bottom, and the sides is all mango. So mango is a really good sounding wood for ukulele. The rosette around the sound hole, that is maple with koa inlays. We'll show you that at a close-up. And then the ebony is the fretboard and the neck, the headstock. So we'll show you this. If you look, so those notes are koa. That's wood inlay. So if you look at the craftsmanship on this, that's not a drawing, that's not a screen print. That's actually pieces of wood inset in other pieces of wood, which I find just absolutely phenomenal. But if someone reads music, if you look at what is in that musical notes that crosses the sound hole and then goes to the bottom, you can see those three notes. So that's amazing. Hey, Ginger, there you go. So that is Amazing Grace. If you look at those notes in 3/4 time, da 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 da. So pretty cool. Okay, so that's a picture of that. That's the rosette. So yeah, someone identified that. So that's Psalm 100. And again, all those things are wooden inlays. I'm just blown away at all of this. If you look at that, it's crazy how I'm just amazed. Anyway, so that's Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise. And that's the kind of the body. And then the last picture here is and that's on the headstock. So kind of a cool, you see it's a treble clef wrapped around the cross. Anyway, so that was that's Amy's ukulele now. So back to the gentleman, his name's Tom Hunter. And we're gonna do something with Tom, I think pretty soon. Super, super nice guy. He's watched the show a couple times. He plays ukulele a little bit, but his skills in creating ukuleles, I think, are just absolutely incredible. So we're gonna do something with him. But I did want to show you this, and I wanted to give Tom credit because what he created was it's just awesome. And I'm just thrilled to have worked with him, and just thrilled to have been able to to do this for Amy. All right, so that's that. I wanted to show you that. And I'll let you know when we're going to have Tom on and we're going to do something. He's not quite ready for that yet. But Betty also is on. I saw in the comments, Betty Sheldon. And she has a couple ukuleles that are just so cool. They've got butterflies on one of them, and they've got dragonflies on another one. And they're amazing. But she's watching tonight, so she might have some words about Tom Hunter. All right. So anyway, thought you'd like to see that. Now back to the music. So we have 2 songs left. We have done this one before, but this is kind of fun. 12 Bar Blues. If you don't know. Okay, and there's Steven. So if you look at Steven's comments, he's always like super smart and talking way above my head. It's like he's showing off. But that's great. So he's going to be talking about intervals and how to recognize them. Yeah. So Steven, we're looking forward to that. Seriously, it's going to be awesome. So we did this a little while back. So if you look at some of these notes, don't be afraid of these. This is quite easy. So if you look, go ahead and make an A chord. Just play an A. Just hold your fingers in the A, first position, A chord. If you look, now look at F sharp minor on the chord diagrams, the second one, F sharp minor. All you're doing is dropping your ring finger to make the F sharp minor. So keep the same A shape. Drop your ring finger on the 2nd fret on the E string, and that is an F sharp minor. It's the same shape as G7. It's just one string towards your chin higher, but same shape as G7. And then if you look at that next one, what we're going to do, we're going to keep the F sharp minor shape. And all we're going to, Stephen, you know I'm kidding. All we're going to do is drop our pinky right next to our ring finger, directly next to it on the 3rd fret. Okay? And we're going to do this in a sequential pattern. We're going to start with A. We're going to go to F sharp minor. We're going to go to A705. Again, I'm not a music teacher, but we're going to go to that and then come back to F sharp minor and then back to A. So it's A. Right? Now it doesn't sound good with single strums, but when we're playing a strum, it's going to sound nice. We're just going to do a down and up. So let's try that. We're going to go really slow. Just a down up strum. Just strum on A, the A chord. Now we're going to go from A, F sharp minor, over to the next, back to F sharp minor to A. Right? And it goes like this. So this is the 12-bar blues. And you could play A all the way through. Right? We've talked about that before. You could say, I thought I'd write a blues song. It seemed easy to do. A all the way through. I thought I'd write a blues song. Right? So you could do that all the way through. We can also jazz it up a little bit. So I'm going to add those in. I thought I'd write a blues song. It seemed easy to do. I thought I'd write a blues song. Right? That's all we're doing. Pretty simple. I know it seems difficult at first, but you're just dropping a finger and dropping another finger, lifting the finger, lifting another finger. So it's just practice. So hopefully that makes sense. We're going to move on with the song, but silly little song that I wrote, really just to kind of demonstrate what 12-bar blues is, and also to add these little kind of boogie notes into the 12-bar blues. So it's like this. Hey, I thought I'd write a blues song. It seemed easy to do. I thought I'd write a blues song. It seemed easy to do. Well, you write the first line, then you sing it times two. This is the middle of my blues song, somewhere between the start and end. This is the middle of my blues song, somewhere between the start and end. One more verse, then grab a drink with a friend. Well, my blues song's finally over. You probably thought it was a mess. Well, my blues song's finally over. You probably thought it was a mess. It may sound crazy, but I didn't write it to impress. So, yeah, Dick, that's a great question. I should know that. I should look that up. I'm going to say A7, no 5. I think that's what I've heard other smarter music people say. Okay, we got one more song. So practice that little riff. You know, it's fun. Practice that little riff. That's 12-bar blues. You hear that in like, a million songs, and I'm sure Stephen Lawson could talk about that. Write your own words to the song. If you want to try your hand at songwriting, pick a tune you know and just sort of goof around and write your own little blues song. You know what we should do? We should, tell you what, I'm going to think about that and maybe talk about it next week. We could have people take their turns at writing a blues song, and then you could send them to me, and I could play them in the countdown music. And it would be a whole countdown of goofy little, or not so goofy, whatever. But you know what I mean, goofy little 12-bar blues songs. So I think we'll do that. We didn't plan on talking about that or doing that, but we're going to do that. All right, goodbye, Lisa. Pickleball date, wow. Have fun at the pickleball date. Okay, and we've got one more song, and then we're calling it a night. Kind of early tonight. Let me see. Let's play a drum. We haven't done a drum beat tonight. It's my fault. So let me make sure I've got the right beat here. Sorry I didn't quite plan for this. But let's see. Just that simple time. That works, doesn't it? All right. 216 beats per minute. We're doing around down on the corner. Let's just get in the groove of that drum beat there. Hey, Katie Thomas made it almost. Well, Katie, we only got like 5 more minutes, so you might as well stick around for the whole thing. And Katie and I are working on a collaboration. I'm very lucky in that regard. All right, are you ready? We'll start from the top in just a moment. welcome Nancy Hauser. Everybody say hi to Nancy. All right, Nancy, we're glad you're here. That's awesome. Welcome. Nancy is with us for the first time. We're thrilled. We really are. Nancy, you have found a fun Wednesday night. We got some of the nicest people on the planet in this little group on Wednesdays. So you have stumbled into a fun place with really nice people. And average music, but really nice people. All right, here we go. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Early in the evening, just about supper time, over by the courthouse there, starting to unwind. 4 kids on the corner, trying to bring you up. Willie picks a tune out and he blows it on the hub. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boy are playing, bring a nickel, tap your feet. Rooster hits the washbowl, people just got to smile. Blicky thumps the gut bass and solos for a while. Poor boy twangs the rhythm out on his Kalamazoo. Willie goes into a dance and doubles on kazoo. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boy are playing, bring a nickel, tap your feet. We're gonna let this scroll up just a little bit. You can just practice your strumming. Here we go. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boy are playing, bring a nickel, tap your feet. You don't need a penny just to hang around. If you got a nickel, won't you lay your money down? Over on the corner, there's a happy noise. People come from all around to watch the magic boys. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boy are playing, bring a nickel, tap your feet. Down on the corner, out in the street, Willie and the poor boy are playing, bring a nickel, tap your feet. All right. Well, that is a wrap. Who is leaving? Terry. All right, Terry. See you later, man. All right. Let me switch over to this and we'll say some goodbye. So I wanted to say thanks again. I got a lot of a number of thank yous for Sally, Sally Carter, who was our guest last week. If you didn't watch that show, if you're new, you can watch all the past shows. So it was a really cool show. She taught picking in for solo, but also in an ensemble, like a 3-part ukulele piece. So if you have friends that play ukulele, you can each do a piece of that. So I just wanted to say thanks again to Sally. Sally Carter, you can check her out, sallycartermusic.com. Want to say thank you, happy birthday again to my dad, who turns 83 today. So Dad, I love you, happy birthday. And for everyone who joined tonight, just very, very grateful that you devote a small part of your week to hanging out here and with friends and just having a good time. And there's a lot of just craziness in the world. And this is a place where we do not talk about any of that craziness. It's a break from all the craziness, and it's just silly and sharing little stories and singing songs and teaching just a little bit about ukulele. So we are glad you're here, and I hope you have a great week. And that's it. I'm out of material. I've presented everything my list says to present, and really glad you're here. Have a great week. Every week, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, come join us. We're here pretty much every single week, unless some rare occurrence happens, and I will announce that. But let's just plan on every week. Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Take care, y'all. We'll see you. Bye.